Welcome, friends, to another thrilling episode of Investigators in Cars Drinking Coffee. I'm your host, Mark Murnan, and I am licensed private investigator, certified legal investigator, certified fraud examiner. I got to remember these. I got to have a card or something. Yeah, you should be. And my wife, Wendy Strom Murnan, wife, partner, capable investigator on her own right here, licensed private investigator, certified paralegal. How are you doing today?
Have you ever noticed I'm never driving the car?
No.
Just wanted to mention that. Maybe one day I'll get to drive.
You're more than welcome to drive. I can't believe you don't like my driving?
No, it's fine.
It's only been 26 years.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, well, we kind of like same side of the bed. I mean, I was saying none of us switch sides of the bed.
True.
Okay, so just keep that in mind. Okay, I digress.
I do know how to drive, by the way.
She does drive. She drives like I do. She drives really fast, takes sharp turns. Yeah, it's tough to be your passenger.
True.
Anyway, so we're on the subject of, speaking of which, we're on the subject of jail interviews.
My heart's already pounding.
What's it like to do an interview at the jail? Now let's preface this. Since COVID, I haven't been in the jail. No, you haven't been in the jail. Nobody's going to the jail. Yeah. Some people are going to jail, but they have video conferencing available.
Yeah.
I anticipate a day in the not too distant future when, you can go back into the jail. But lawyers and investigators have been kind of...
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Actually, they've told us at our jail, you can come in, but we don't recommend it.
Oh.
But you still, as part of an investigative process, you do have to meet with the client. If you're doing criminal defense work, jail is just a fact of life. And you and I have both been in the jail on numerous occasions conducting interviews. So what's it like doing a jail interview? Let me ask you.
Well, I don't go that often, but when I do, it's quite an experience.
Why is that?
Well, just getting in the door is quite an experience.
There's a
getting
process.
Past the guy at the front window.
Yeah.
If you get through that, you feel like
you've really made it.
You've really made it. Yeah. And the whole experience of going to the visiting rooms is another really intimidating experience because you've got people behind windows, they're yelling at you, they're opening doors, you're asking them to open, it's like
very loud, isn't it?
Yeah, and doors are closing behind you and you're getting deeper and deeper in there.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting.
Our jail structure is our jail is structured so that we actually enter into the facility and go to the different floors where they have interview rooms. Now, not every jail is like that. Many jails have visitation or attorney rooms where the inmate is brought to the interview room.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And they're brought to our interview room, but it's on the floors with the inmates.
You're right
so we're in general
yes.
population.
Yeah.
We don't go through general population. We go through a bay area, and they are behind the glass.
Yes.
Or behind bars, and we have the interview room, and we're accompanied. However, it's interesting.
Yeah, and the basketball courts are right there, and they're watching.
It's kind of like being in a fishbowl.
It is.
They're behind glass. We're behind glass.
Yeah.
We're talking to our client.
Then the people that work there are very friendly, very helpful.
Pretty much so. Yeah, the guards.
And
correction officers.
Yeah, they're very nice. So you go up into the
to
room.
us.
Yes.
They're very nice to us for the most part.
So if there's a room available, it's great. You go up in the room and they bring your inmate, the inmate down, your client, and you sit around a table and you interview him or her. Now, if there's no room available, like one time I went, they took us, rather than turn us away, they brought our client out in a hallway in the middle of the jail where the elevators and the food trays and the inmates coming in and out, and we're sitting in this little hallway trying
How many of us were there?
Oh my gosh, there was a lot because we had an interpreter and a couple attorneys, and there's probably 6 or 7 of us sitting
talking to one inmate.
Yeah,
in the
talking to
hallway.
one inmate while all this is going on, and my eyes are like So, it's always an interesting. But Mark, he knows where he's going. We love him because he's like, turn right, turn left. He's asking the guards this one, that one. And
you drop breadcrumbs to kind of find your way around here.
Yeah, I would never find my way out.
Yeah, it's difficult because it's structured. But again, a lot of jail facilities and prison facilities have an interviews area where you just go in. It's not
that would be nice.
It's not deep in the belly of the beast,
yeah.
but it's
not
there.
Palm Beach County.
And you don't, and not where we're at, or
yeah.
even Broward County. There's places like that as well. So, jail interviews are a different dynamic. So, how have you found them to be challenging?
Well, sometimes they are. I know a few times they've been behind glass.
Right.
That's challenging because you can't hear them. You
right.
know, I just challenge. I think it's the environment that's challenging to me.
Yeah.
That's intimidating. Most of the time, the clients are great.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever had an unusual experience with a client by any chance?
Could be.
Could be. Like an angry client or anything?
Well,
I mean,
angry clients, it's, I think in 35 years plus, we've had one violent encounter.
Yeah, yeah.
So, out of 35 years, but it only takes one.
Yeah, that
only
was.
takes one.
That
so
was.
that was
I
intense.
was not there, so I was happy to not be there.
It took 60 minutes. It took 60 seconds. It took a minute for the guards to respond. And
what did the client do?
Struck his attorney.
Jumped over the table?
Well, struck his attorney.
Oh, okay, and then what did you do, or what did one of the lawyers do?
Fell on my back.
But how do you get help when you're in the interview
you
room?
try to press the emergency button.
Okay, because you're locked in there, right?
You're locked in there with the inmate who's
yes.
very angry and very aggressive.
And how long did it take for them to respond?
It was probably about a minute and a half, and it felt like an hour and a half. Yeah.
Glad I missed that one.
So, thank goodness, no serious injury.
Yeah.
And, but it was a very volatile situation.
Yeah,
And like I said, I'm surprised it hasn't happened more.
Yeah, and this guy obviously had some mental health issues.
Yeah, there were a lot going on.
Yeah,
There were a lot going on. But you're dealing in the jail, you're dealing with people who are under incredible stress, who suffer from a variety of mental health, substance abuse, or anger issues, clearly. Anger issues. And it is close proximity. They don't have a lot of interview rooms. And it's really difficult if you're conducting an interview with someone you're hoping to defend. Having that glass in between you is you're not really able to relate to the client. So,
right.
Like I said, I've been very, very blessed to not have had more situations like that, but that was enough.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That was enough. And the worst part was our attorney client who suffered some injury.
Yes.
But it's the nature of the business that we do. You're dealing with felons. You're dealing with people charged with crimes, many times violent crimes. A lot of times it's routine drug crimes, but sometimes you have very violent crimes, and the caliber of clientele sometimes reflects that reality.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do jail interviews, just be prepared. It is a different side of life. Winnie and I live a very normal middle-class life, and it is a very different experience. And I'm very grateful. I think you and I both are very grateful to have had a chance to see things that we've seen, some of it horrific, but always interesting. It's never dull.
I definitely think they should take all kids to a jail and scare them straight.
Well, they did that. Remember they had that scared straight? But they did a study 10, 15 years later, and it had no impact.
Oh, you're kidding.
No.
Oh, wow.
I know from personal experience having to with our own kids. So I don't know about scared straight, but that was a philosophy a few years ago. But jail is something definitely to be avoided. We did one our episode last week on federal prison, but the local county jail systems are tough.
Yeah. They're just a stopping place.
They're just a stopping place,
yeah.
And so they're loud.
Yes.
They're crowded, and with COVID, we're not going.
No.
So anyway, but just wanted to give you a little bit of insight from the investigators in cars, what it's like to do a jail interview, and some of the experiences we've had and not had. So, but keep that in mind if you're considering criminal defense work. I would suggest maybe contacting maybe an internship at your local public defender's office is a great way to kind of get introduced to the criminal defense aspect. We'll be providing in the future some materials on criminal defense investigations, and I know that PI education And Pursuit Magazine has segments on criminal defense work, something to check out as well. So we'll include some links down there. In the meantime, consider subscribing. Get a couple of our cool coasters. Don't forget Wendy's.
Don't consider, do it.
Do it. Subscribe. Get on there. If you're
Push
getting
the
good
button.
content. Push the button. Do it now. Get us a couple cool coasters. Hit us up for our ebook on marketing to plaintiff attorneys and the Silver Bullet, a way to find former employees of defendant corporations. And that's it. We will see you again next week.
Interesting episode
Another
of
fascinating Investigators in Cars Drinking Coffee. Thanks for joining us, folks.
Bye now.